We're here in beautiful Tybee Island, Georgia today, and we're joined by Matt Jansen, who is with the Live Lightly tour. Matt, welcome to RV TV.
Hey, nice to be here.
Tell me a little bit about what this tour is all about and what you hope to accomplish.
Well, we are traveling the U.S. For 1 year as a family. I'm doing education on alternative fuels and sustainability.
And you are doing this in this vehicle behind us that is powered by
waste vegetable oil. It's not just new vegetable oil, it's waste vegetable oil. So we're actually taking used oil from the restaurants and burning it straight right into the engine. I'll check the dumpster first to see if the oil is any good, because not all oil is created equal by any means. If I think it's good oil, I'll walk into the restaurant, talk to a manager or talk to someone who's in charge, and most of the time they're pretty open to saying, sure, you bet, you know, we like what you're doing, we like the cause. And so once I get permission, I just pull the RV right up, and I've got an onboard filtration system, and I just sit there and siphon it right out of the drum.
Now you've also got to have an additional diesel fuel tank on board here. What's that for?
Yep, we basically need that for startups and shutdowns. Like I was saying, you need to have heat to use vegetable oil, and so we need that to start up the engine, and then that allows the engine to warm up, get the vegetable oil warmed up, and then also we use it to shut it down so that we're not leaving any vegetable oil in our lines, and that way we don't have any problems the next morning if it's cold out.
So just kind of run through the process for me. Let's just say you're at the back of a restaurant, you found the holy grail of the
Right.
hundreds of gallons of good oil.
Yep.
Now, how do you get it into the...
Well, first I stop convulsing because I get so excited that I just got to get out of the RV as fast as I can. So once I pull up, you know, I'll unlock and I can just pull down the hood here. I pull this hose out right here. So then I'm just going to take this hose. I've got a little pre-filter here that's going to keep out chicken bones, you know, all the big stuff, and stick it right on the end. And I'm just going to drop that right into a dumpster. Now I'll just use this as an example. I just stick that right in, and you always want to take the oil from the top because all the stuff settles at the bottom. Just hit the switch, the pumps will kick on, the vegetable oil will start to flow through this line, right up to these two and into these filters. And that's going to filter the oil down to a 10 micron, and then it's going to flow up through the pumps, and it's going to go right into the main tank. So I can just sit back and watch her go, and just watch myself make money.
What are we looking at in these bottles here? You've got some different examples of filtration?
These are just different. No, this is actually all unfiltered oil that I found along the way. This is going to be an American restaurant, actually, that I found 120 gallons of this. This is unfiltered, so
looks pretty clean.
It's very clean. And this is going to be more Mexican. You can tell it's a little bit fattier. You can see the animal fat in there. It's just not going to be as clean. This is going to be more of an Asian restaurant. I mean, it's still dark, but if you really look close, it's actually still pretty clean. So those are kind of examples that I show people on the way, because a lot of times they get they've looked in dumpsters and they see like just sludge, and well, you do find those, but there is oil like this out there, and that's the oil that you really want to be putting in and burning.
Now, somebody once said if you go up to one of these vehicles that's burning vegetable oil and you sniff the exhaust, it's going to smell like French fries. Is that true?
Well, to be honest, it's going to smell like whatever type of food you put in it. It could be Mexican, it could be Asian, it could be American. It really depends. I mean, it is
Depends
very
on what's
true.
on the menu.
It really depends on what type of grease you just collected. Yep, it does.
Sarah's going to show us around the inside of the motorhome. Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm very good.
So there's some unique products that you've used in here that are sustainable, and I'll let you tell me what that's all about.
Sure, yes. We remodeled the inside with green materials. The floors are bamboo, and bamboo is wonderful because it renews itself within 3 to 5 years. The countertop and the table are made out of crushed sunflower seed shells.
Wow.
For furniture, for anything, it's a great alternative to wood, and people are always amazed by this. Like, did you eat that many sunflower seeds? I said, no. All the paint is low VOC paint. VOC is a volatile organic compound. It's the stuff that makes paint stink and gives you a headache and is toxic, fumes. And so now they're starting to take that all out. So low VOC, and now they do have no VOC paint. You can see it's very colorful in here. I love color. It's very fun to kind of live in a space that's happy. We pretty much took our last place we lived and we moved it into the RV. So all the colors are the same that we had, and all the curtains, we just pretty much moved everything out here. We put our own king-size bed in, which helps it feel like home a lot. People try to offer us their double guest bed when we go stay with friends or whatever. No, we have our own. We're so excited. So it's pretty much just like a little mini apartment. Our goal of the Live Lightly Tour is to teach people how to make small steps in their life, small changes that are going to add up to big change over time. You know, some of those things are going to be like use less disposable items, sharing your stuff, say like sharing your lawnmower with your neighbor instead of both of you having them. Living smaller. Obviously, we're living much smaller, and that's the thing that people are really interested in. You know, they're living in maybe a 3,000 or 4,000 square foot house, and they can't even fathom how you might cut that down. And so here, when we have a 40-gallon water tank, you're very aware that 6 of that is hot water for your shower. You know, and it really does help you be aware of where your resources are going. We eat mostly a raw food diet, which helps keep our trash really low, and so you know we have a little teeny tiny trash can, and we really don't fill that up for about a week. Most of our food comes in its own little wrapper.
Do you get the sense that you're having an impact with this tour?
Absolutely, absolutely. When we come to a place like an RV park, a campground, they're not expecting it, so when they walk by and they go, "Whoa, were you here last night? Because I didn't see," you know, and they get really intrigued by it, and so we're able to kind of, you know, play on that and show them the veggie oil, and they're usually very, very interested in that. So yes, it's definitely making an impact. We've had several people that are going to do veggie oil now that they've seen, you know, our rig and seen our car and are making changes in their lifestyle.
And what are the challenges of traveling with a young child?
You know, kids are so adaptable. She has everything she needs. She has her toys, she has her same clothes, she has her same bed, she has mommy and daddy. And that's really all that, at 4 years old, if you have those things, you're a happy girl. She has so many friends now across the country that we've been keeping in touch with, and I know that they'll be lifelong friends and friends that we'll be able to go back and visit when she's older.
And friends who are probably a little envious of her right now.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun lifestyle. And it is kind of glamorous to anyone looking in from the outside, but at the same time, it's still real life. You know, you still have ups and downs. It's just that, you know, if you're having a bad day, you can just drive away from it. You know, if it's raining, you just drive where there's sunshine.
Hi, I'm Bella.
And I'm Rob, and you're watching RV TV.